Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Since July is coming to an end, here are top 10 altcoins to buy in August. So let's get started, and of course don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with LDO. After rejecting the 0.5-0.6 support zone, we have been looking for longs, short term and medium term, especially after breaking above the 0.6 structure. As you can see in red, we expected, as per the previous overviews, a movement towards the 1 round number. But as you can see, last week we've broken above the 1.1 resistance, so it's now acting as a support zone. Previously resistance turned support. Thus, as long as the 1 round number holds, we'll be looking for longs on every bearish correction, targeting the upper bound of this big range around the 1.5 round number. Next, we've got Kamino, KMNO. It's trading within a range, as you clearly see, and we have rejected the lower bound of the range multiple times, and we are currently in the making of the new bullish impulse, of course towards the upper bound of the range at 0.07. If you zoom into H4 time frame, you can clearly see the overall bullish movement. Impulse, correction, impulse, and we are currently in this correction phase. For the bulls to take over and start the next bullish impulse towards the 0.07, a break above this last major high and structure at 0.0622 will be needed. If you break above it, expect this continuation. And of course, vice versa, if you push a little bit lower, we'll be looking for new longs, again targeting the 0.07. Next, one of the big market caps, Aave. On weekly time frame, you can see that we lately broke above this 250-270 resistance. So it's now acting as support. Very strong area, multiple rejections from the zone. Thus, if you zoom into daily time frame, we have been overall bullish, making higher lows and higher highs. Thus, as mentioned previously, in a bullish market, on every bearish correction, and especially we've got the slower bound and the support zone at 270, we'll be looking for trend following longs targeting a medium term target around the 400 round number. Next, we've got Wormhole, or WUSDT. If you zoom into daily time frame, you can see a big range between 0.05 round number and the 0.1 round number. Thus, it's a big accumulation phase. Previously, we have been in a markdown phase. Price has been making lower highs and lower lows. However, it has been stuck within this big accumulation phase, failing to make new lower lows. Thus, I'm expecting an inverse head and shoulders here to form, and then after breaking above the neckline at 0.12, we'll be expecting a big markup phase. New phase making higher highs and higher lows, and the first target would be the 0.4 round number. Thus, in brief, as W retests this lower bound around 0.06, we'll be looking for short-term longs targeting the 1 or the 0.1 round number, and then after breaking the neckline at 0.12, we'll be expecting the shift in momentum to happen from bearish to bullish. Next, we've got GRT, the graph. If you zoom a little bit in to weekly time frame or zoomed in picture, you can see that we are currently around the lower bound of this support and also lower bound of this falling wedge, as you can see in orange. And you can almost notice this big double bottom pattern. Thus, you can clearly expect a big bullish movement towards the upper bound of the wedge if you break above this last major high. It would be around 0.132. If you break above it, expect this movement towards the 0.2. And for the bulls to take over long term, a break above the 0.2 will be needed, and then we'll be expecting 0.3 and then 0.5. Next, we've got NMR. Weekly time frame, you can see a big range, and it's currently testing a massive resistance zone. Previously support, broken downward, now acting as a resistance. And of course, you can clearly already understand that if you break above the 12.5 resistance currently, it will be acting as support again, and we'll be expecting what? A movement towards the 25 again. You can clearly see how clean NMR have been. Previously support, broken upward, now acting as support again, broken downward, now resistance, and then if you break above the 12.5, we'll be expecting a movement towards the 25. That would be 100% movement upward. This is what I'm waiting for on NMR. I have my alerts already set. Next, we've got LPT. Daily time frame, we've rejected this demand zone, already mentioned in the coin of the week articles for those who watched it, and caught this nice bullish movement, like 50% movement upward from 5 to 7.5 and then from 6 towards the 8.5. Anyway, we are already in a bullish market, previously bearish, broken above the highs, and then we had a shift in momentum from bearish to bullish. We are bullish, trading within this flat rising channel, as you can see in green. Thus, of course, as long as this channel holds, we'll be looking for trend following longs targeting the 8.5 as a first target and the 10 as a second target. Next, we've got Pol, previously Matic, of course, as a symbol, now POL. Big accumulation phase. After this big markdown phase, we are currently loading. The bulls are taking over bit after bit, because you can clearly see that the bears are no longer in control, no longer managing to make new lows. Instead, the bulls are kicking in, but they are not in full control yet. For the bulls to take over long term and then to be in full control, a break above this big accumulation phase will be needed. If you remember previously in a coin of the week article, we waited for a break above the 0.2 and then expected a movement towards the upper bound of the accumulation at 0.26, and now we are looking for something similar. If we retest the 0.2 again, we'll be looking for new longs, because it's a demand zone, aggressive movement output from here, and also this support zone. Next, on daily time frame, if you break above this big accumulation, we'll be expecting a bigger bullish movement, a mark-up phase to start on daily time frame towards the 0.5 round number. It's definitely good to have Pol on the list. ARB, Arbitrum, weekly time frame, we've rejected the lower bound here. You can clearly see it better on daily time frame. We have been bearish and now we are bullish. I also mentioned this one in one of the altcoins article a couple of weeks ago when we were right there. I'm waiting for this to expect a movement towards the upper bound, and then I mentioned that if you break above the channel, we'll be expecting a continuation towards the 0.5 round number. Now, since we are around the upper bound of this big range, I'm expecting a bearish movement, of course, to be confirmed if you break below these lows. You can see it better on H4 time frame. If you break below the 0.415, we'll be expecting a whole shift in momentum again from bearish to bullish and then to bearish again on ARB. But for now, as long as we don't break below the 0.4, we are still bullish. And the bulls, to remain in control, we need a daily candle close above the 0.52. In this case, if this happens for the bullish scenario, a movement towards the 0.75 would be expected. That would be a 50-60% movement upward. Last but not least, one of the big market cap ones, TRX or Tron, whatever you want to call it. We've expected this bullish movement towards the 0.3 and then 0.33 previously in multiple articles previously. So if you break above the 0.252, I've been waiting for this to confirm this bullish movement, which happened, especially after rejecting this demand zone, also highlighted a couple of months ago. Anyway, we are currently around the upper bound of this rising wedge pattern. Thus, for the bulls to remain in control, a break above the 0.335 will be needed. In this case, if this happens on daily time frame, we'll be expecting a movement towards the all-time high again at 0.45. Meanwhile, in case we retest the lower bound, which would be a very strong area as it's the intersection of the structure, previous high, and the lower trend line here, we'll be looking for trend following longs targeting the 0.35. That's it for the top 10 altcoins to look for in August. Let me know if you are holding any token or planning to hold any of these 10 tokens. And if not, let me know which altcoins would you like me to go over next. And I'll see you hopefully on the next one.